So I very recently blew up a student channel with only 3 videos, as we can see right here. So 1 video, 2 video, 3 video, and then we started getting views and this channel absolutely started blowing up. And then not too long ago, so here on the 30th, we actually got monetized, and then it went up to the highest day of $207 in one single day. And in this video, I'll show you guys exactly, like literally step by step, how you can do exactly this too, how you can blow up your channel as well. Yeah, so I would say let's get started with the video. Now, for the people who don't know who I am, I'm Stefan, 23 years old, currently make between 20, oh no, not 20, but 30 and $40,000 a month with faceless YouTube channels and constantly starting new channels. Then I've had just 2 videos that made me over 42K. Then I've built a channel from $0 to $48,000 in just 30 days. So trust me, you're on good hands. But not only that, I've helped hundreds of other people do the exact same thing. For example, here Martins, we've helped to make $31,000 in one single month. Here Student, we helped to make $24,000 one single month. Here different one, $12,000. Here $3,000 or $4,000 and many, many more. Now, if you're interested in getting the same results, check out the first link in the video description, book a call with me, and we'll have a look if it makes sense to work together and scale up your channel as well. All right. Now, with that being said, I would say let's get started with step 1, which is kind of, figuring out how your niche should even look like before you get started with your channel, because again, that is the most important thing. So the first thing we always want to look at is that they are under 5 smaller channels creating content in this niche that are constantly getting more views than they have subscribers. This means there's high demand and low supply, which is the most important metric on YouTube, or the most important kind of factor on YouTube, because if there's no demand and a lot of supply, it doesn't make any sense to go into the niche. Or if there's high demand but too much supply, also doesn't make sense to go into that niche. But if there's high demand and low supply, we have a very, very good chance of actually succeeding in that specific niche. Then there are no channels with over 100,000 subscribers. Why? Because YouTube will automatically trust these accounts way more than, for example, your account if you just newly get started with your YouTube channel. So why should they push out your channel instead of, pushing out a channel where they know the viewers already like the content? Then there are no smaller channels failing. Very important, because if they are like a bunch of smaller channels failing, why should your channel succeed? The niche is not older than 6 months. Very, very important, because otherwise, in most cases, there will be channels failing, and there will also be channels with over 100,000 subscribers. Then I can create better content than my competitors. This can also just be longer content. Boom. Am I actually interested in this niche? This is not a must, as long as you build a team that actually has interest in this specific niche. Then is the niche monetizable? By the way, for this, most channels I start, like I've literally no idea what's going on in those niches. I've had, just as an example, a gymnastics niche. I know nothing about gymnastics, but the first video got 1 million views. Why? Because I have a team that, can basically create videos on anything, because some of them, like for example, our scriptwriter at that time was very interested in it. So it's very easy to blow up that channel. These days we have AI, which makes it even easier. Okay. Then is the niche monetizable? Super important. Otherwise you cannot make any money. Then huge bonus if you can post long videos, because automatically, then you can place more ads, and YouTube can show more ads to the viewer. So that means you will make more money. Now, very important that this does not need to be 1,000% with every single niche you find. The niche or the channel I've just shown you, it's also not 1,000%, right? So it doesn't need to be 1,000%. But if you find something that is 1,000%, that obviously is gonna be very, very crazy. Now, tools I would recommend for doing niche research are NextLev. It's like 13 euros a month. Very, very cool niche research tool. Or vidIQ, just the free plan. Now, what we use, and I'll show you guys exactly how to use these specific accounts or these specific tools in a second, but what we use to do niche research, and I'm just opening it on this side, what we use to do niche research is called a dummy account. Now, as you can see here, I can just show you guys the dummy account right here. Just as an example here, it's just niche research. Now, this is basically an account that we only use for niche research. The YouTube homepage changed for our advantage. YouTube got extremely good at predicting what we are wanting or what we want to watch. And we can use this to our advantage to train the YouTube algorithm to only show us faceless niches on our YouTube homepage, which is a game changer. Now, instead of explaining all of this, let me show how you can do it yourself. And then you have to know that once you have your dummy account set up, you can find endless niches with it. This is literally a glitch in YouTube. Now, if you look at my homepage right here, we can see it's literally all faceless niches. The whole YouTube homepage is just faceless. And if we click, for example, on this channel here, we can see, just as an example, that, this is a channel I don't know, small channel, not a lot of videos, and getting a lot of views here. 11 days ago, 108,000 views, just as an example. And then what we can do is we can see this channel here is not monetized yet. Not completely sure why it's not monetized. Could be the videos, but what you can do with Next Level, just as an example, you can click here on analytics, and then Next Level is going to show you the RPM, the views it's getting, the money this channel is making, where the audience is coming from, all of these things. Not only that, you can actually click here on similar channels, in-depth search, and it's going to find you all of the channels in the specific niche that are posting this kind of content for you to then, kind of make up your mind if, the niche is saturated or it's not saturated. Now, how do you set up an account exactly like this? So you basically go ahead, create a brand new account. So for my sake now, I'll just, show you guys here with an incognito. So I just filmed a video not too long ago, but what you basically do is you go to, you can see I'm not signed in, but you go to your YouTube search and anything you're interested in, for example, the biggest houses, can be literally anything you are interested in, and you click on faceless videos, very important, only faceless videos. You subscribe to this channel, you like this video, and you go here through the sidebar and you just do that over and over and over and over and over again. But you need to make sure that you click on faceless videos. And if you then go back to your YouTube homepage, you will see that your YouTube homepage will just show you faceless channels the whole time. Like, for example, here, Britain Retold, 35,000 subscribers, 60,000 views, 61,000, not thousand, but 61 videos posted. Most popular video, 600,000 views, just as an example. So this is how simple it is to kind of do niche research, especially with the dummy account, because the YouTube homepage is literally going to give you endless of niches the whole time, which is absolutely crazy. Now, something we also like to do is we like to create new niches using the niche transfer method. So instead of blindly copying something that everyone is doing, we use the niche transfer method to 1000x our results. Now, this is essentially taking proven concepts and moving them to different markets on YouTube. Now, this can be anything. Your title, a thumbnail, a video style, literally anything that is working. If we look at, just as an example, these examples, so for example, medieval times discovered, before fire, pirate times on TV, then here off-grid solutions, just as an example, we can see, and you guys can look up these channels, but we can see if we look at these channels closer, we can see that every one of these channels kind of follows the exact same kind of content style. And what they did is they kind of took the idea from here, from medieval people, moved it here then, just as an example, to cavemen, here to pirates, and here to homeless people, just as an example. So you can be very creative with it. This is a very, 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 very powerful way of kind of finding your niche, because you create a new market for, then you won't have any competition. Okay. Now, step 2, once we picked our niche, it's all about speed. Speed is one of the most important things on YouTube. Now, we need a lot of speed when it comes to content creation. So you have 3 options when you want to approach content creation. So either you can do it yourself, you can do the hybrid method, or you can fully outsource it. Hybrid method is basically where you do some of the things yourself. So let's say, for example, writing the scripts with AI. Now, there are disadvantages and advantages to each of these things. So if you do it yourself, the advantages are they are basically no costs, 100% profit margin. You learn new skills. You have full control over the whole channel. The disadvantages, though, are this is not very scalable. It's extremely time consuming. Learning takes time, and without you, there's no money, right? Now, if you go for the hybrid method, this is something that a lot of our students actually, they start out with the hybrid method, creating the scripts themselves, these kind of things. because you have low costs, you do what you enjoy, you have more control, and the disadvantages are just that it's only partially scalable, time consuming, some capital required. Without you, there's no income. Now, usually once the channel starts to make money, they all move over to fully outsourcing, where the advantages are it's not very time consuming, extremely scalable, still over 80% profit margin if you do it correctly. You have time freedom. You work with experienced freelancers, and without you still have income. Now, the disadvantages are just that it, requires some initial capital, so you can choose, like, it doesn't matter how you create the video or who creates the video, as long as the video actually gets created and posted on YouTube. If you have that, you're good to go. We have, if we look at Isabel, she started out with, doing everything herself, and she got monetized within 10 days, 2 channels. Right? So just because you have to create the content yourself doesn't mean that you can't succeed with YouTube. All right. Then we come to step 3, which is supply and demand and topics. All right. Now, supply and demand is not just important in the niche you choose, but also in the video topics you choose. And many people don't know this. All right. This is a big problem. Like, yes, everyone is focusing on the niches and all of these things, but who's really focusing on choosing good video topics that can actually go viral? Now, how do you find demand? You look at recent outlier videos on competitor channels and have a look at, like, hey, how can you use this specific topic or this specific packaging for your own channel? You look for recent trending videos. Now, very important is that you do not go ahead and you copy the most popular videos from competitors, because this is what everyone does and your videos will fail. Keep in mind that there is supply and demand, and if everyone copies the most viral videos or the most popular videos, there's going to be a lot of supply, right? So you always have to think that way. Now, how do you actually find supply? You use YouTube search bar and look for how many people have created the exact same video. If it's been done more than 3 times and you don't have a different angle to that specific video, I would highly recommend you to look for a different topic, because you have to keep in mind that YouTube will always show the videos to the hardcore fans of that niche first. And if they have already seen the video multiple times, they don't have any reason to click on your video. Right? So you have to do a different angle. Okay. Now, how does a perfect topic actually look like? A perfect topic resonates with your audience. And, so you have to ask yourself, why do they even want to watch this? Why would they even want to watch this? This is a question you have to ask yourself. All right. Then some topics sound interesting but are super boring. So make sure that your topic is not boring. Your topic has to be posted on time, especially if it is a trend. Repeat what has already done well in the past. I'll tell you guys more on this later, because we had, for example, one student who, we kind of just doubled down on what is working. We took him from, making almost no money to $30,000 a month just 4 months later. So if you're interested in something like that, then, obviously, I can't guarantee that you're going to get the same results, because the results he got was insane. But go ahead, book your one-on-one call with me, and we'll have a look how we can work one-on-one together. Then what we also do is we leverage negativity. So humans respond way better to negative things because there's an urge to do something. If something negative is happening, for example, if there's a lion behind me, I have to do something, So yeah, then step 4 is kind of just warming up your accounts and getting started and posting these videos. But there are different kind of YouTube accounts. Which one should you actually use? So we have brand new, aged, personal, and pre-monetized. So brand new is self-explanatory. It's a new account you can just create. Aged is an account from 2006 to 2009. Then personal is just a YouTube account that you use here just right now to watch this video. And pre-monetized is just a YouTube account that is already in the YouTube partnership program. So I would not recommend a pre-monetized account, simply because of the reason that they can cost a little bit of money, and we don't want to spend a bunch of money on these kind of accounts before before we don't know how this whole system works. Then brand new accounts are very good, aged accounts also very good, and personal accounts extremely good. All right. So if you have a personal account, highly recommend you to go for that one. Now, if you want to protect your channel from day one, which is extremely important, like even if you use here old accounts and stuff, you want to use different email addresses for every single account. You want to use different AdSense account. you want to use different browsers for every single channel you run, or for the different kind of channels, then you want to use different Chrome profiles just to keep your channels as safe as possible. And I just want to mention that you don't need any proxies and any anti-detect or anything like that. Like, guys, you just don't need it. Like, I've been doing YouTube for 11 years now, and I've never ever used anything like this. All right. I've never used it. Again, now creating the channel, this is not something that should take you longer than, 10, 15 minutes. It's a process that you can do with AI. Like, you can literally go to ChatGPT and ask it like, hey, very quickly create me a logo and a banner, and it's done, right? So kind of setting up the channel can be very, very quickly. Like, it should not take longer than 15 minutes. Now, when it comes to warming up your account, and this is extremely important on, how we kind of blew up this channel this fast as well. We warm up our accounts to increase our trust score. Now, trust score is just like, hey, how much does the platform actually trust our channel? Which is very important, because if our channel has more trust, YouTube is automatically going to push the video out way, way, way faster. All right. Now, what accounts need to be warmed up? New accounts and aged accounts. These are both accounts I would warm up. Now, how do you warm them up? You use them like literally as a normal user. You watch 1 to 2 hours of content per day. You subscribe, like, and comment to different kind of channels. But don't act like a bot, act like a normal person, right? We don't want to spam YouTube. Then do this for 1 week plus to lower the risk of a low trust score. Just a quick note, always have 1 to 2 channels up and ready to go, so you don't waste a bunch of time once you have a niche and you want to have speed to kind of go into that niche. So these are like just a few things. After this, you obviously go ahead and you post the videos and you test. But yeah, if you're interested in me, for example, doing all of that with you, then, like just as an example, like we did here, $4,000 a month, or even here, 25K a week, then check out the first link in the video description, book a call with me, and we'll have a look how we can kind of scale it up together. And I'll see you then on the call.